you're making an excuse. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murder. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem. Why are so many blacks committing murder outside of their population?
Okay, let's take it back to some history.
I'm curious for an answer to that question.
I'm going to give you one. So let's go to redlining. Okay, redlining.
Redlining
yes.
is why so many blacks are killing each other?
No.
Oh, please, Mr. Barroom Brawler. Don't hurt me or anything like that.
We shall get our kingdom too! And in that kingdom we shall rule. In that kingdom we shall rule. If we keep the laws in Christ. If we keep the laws of Christ. We shall never give up our mind. And we'll get our kingdom too! And in that kingdom we shall rule.
You know, I'm still on that Charlie Kirk shit. Yeah, I'm still on it, man. He picked 25 liberal college students and shit. All right? Picked, mostly women. He picked them to talk to and shit, and he has these questions about, the crime rate and, various criminal activities allegedly committed by the 13% of society that constitutes American citizens, also known as black men and shit, they like to call us people of color or white adjacent. Yeah, he has these questions, but he goes to, people with little to no life experience. They're in a rarefied era shit. As we speak, every year it's getting less and less likely that, a certain demographic would actually seek higher education because of the cost or whatnot. So he decides to, punch down and shit, so to speak, and shit. And no duh to black female academics. We hear from them all the time about how they're the most educated, but we had to watch one of them struggle to answer a troll question from an agitator, a racial agitator. His name's Charlie Kirk and whatnot. He's picking his shots and whatnot. And I, in good conscience, can't allow him to do that without, using a bit of common sense and emotional intelligence and whatnot. Why would he pick a female to talk to when most of what he's talking to, and most of the criminal justice system, the people that he's talking about, are black men and whatnot? So why not, Charlie Kirk really wants to know, why don't he just ask the question directly to the people concerned and whatnot? Why doesn't Charlie Kirk go to a prison, have a table mic set up? They can put like some kind of a barrier there and shit so that he'll be safe, or he can stand there with 2 armed guards and he can talk to various criminals and ask them why they do these things and whatnot. Okay? And I don't think you see Charlie Kirk doing something like that because he has no balls. He has no testicles. Okay? He has a pussy down there. Okay? I know I'm being egregiously out of pocket, but I think it was shitty of him. This, seeing him fucking with that, with the 129-second clip that I include, seeing him messing around with that girl, it's like me watching somebody messing with a child, like my son or something. Okay? I'm not gonna say my fucking daughter for obvious reasons. Fuck. Why doesn't he just ask criminals why they do these things? Okay? I'm sure they would love to talk to him. They really have nothing to do. They're sitting in there doing various numbers of years and shit, in the justice system that his people set up and shit. Okay? Being white adjacent and all. We have a lot of time on our hands because we don't have money for higher education. Just the females get to go to these places of higher learning, and instead of, actually learning anything, they just want to assimilate into that same system that disrespects them and looks at them as less than, despite their degrees and everything, and they consider themselves a separate race. So asking them is like asking someone else. It's apples and oranges, literally, and shit. Okay? Well, apples and bananas. How about that? Yeah, Charlie, a lot of your people preceding you, reporters habitually have gone into jails and talked to criminals about the same subject matter and shit. Even Geraldo Rivera has done this. There was a documentary where they asked Suge Knight some questions. Why don't you go ask Suge Knight? He's not going anywhere. There's a ton of people in jail that you can talk to. They're criminals. And if you don't want to talk to them, why don't you try directing the questions to people in our community that would be more suited to answer your questions? You know what? Would you see Charlie Kirk talking to the Hebrew Israelites? Would you see him talking to Hebrew Israelites? No? Would you see him talking to anyone from the Nation of Islam? Would he be brave enough to sit in front of, any members, higher up members of the Nation of Islam, or even Farrakhan himself? All right? I'm just, putting common sense there. He thought he wanted to have a narrative and whatnot, and this young lady allowed him to have his way with her and whatnot. She was unprepared to sit in front of a racial agitator, okay, who doesn't have any reason to be interested in anything going on in the black community and shit, except for what he sees when he thinks he's looking through a window, but he's looking into a construct that they themselves create because they own our and market our image for various reasons, okay? They decide who gets to be seen and who doesn't get to be seen. We don't own anything. We don't own any media outlets. All our political parties are compromised and shit. And you want to ask this kind of a question of a young, wet behind the ears noob who is unprepared to deal with you. Okay. And you want to use your toxic masculinity, your white toxic masculinity to override her innate feminism and her sense of superiority. If you were a black man sitting in front of her, she would have known what to say and what to do. But you caught her unawares because she's constantly code switching and thinking about how she's going to fit in and not be too racially aggressive or out there and whatnot. It's just something that we do innately and shit. It comes from the soil. It's part of our people and our learned experiences of citizens of this country, Mr. Kirk. All right? So, if you want me to take you serious, you take your ass into any of these prisons, preferably a supermax, and you can have your pick of all of the black men there. They can give you a list of them and their various offenses, and you can decide who you want to talk to. Okay? So some of those people are educated that are sitting their ass in there. Okay? Don't be talking to no low level. Don't be talking to no teenagers, who are there on the 3 strikes law written by the mummified president, of this country. Back in 1994, that crime bill and shit, we were referred to as super predators, and you knew we could get away with it because we didn't have any adequate legal or political representation in the community, and the females that, flank these, liberals and shit, they're in the bag, okay? Right? You're the same asshole, just like people across the aisle from you that would bring up this Ketanji Brown person and shit. It's like black men are supposed to be proud of that. We're supposed to think something of that and shit, and then you stack the deck and shit, and then you think you're doing something, okay? But you're not fooling anyone, okay? You're just comfort food for people, small-minded, racist, like yourself and shit, weak men, fragile men that don't even know how to run their own fucking country. That's why it's in the toilet right now. That's why everything's in the toilet. Black men don't run shit. Okay, we don't run shit, but we do have the answer to your question. If you have the nuts to bring your ass into any prison, all right? And your people make a lot of money off those fucking prisons, by the way. You need to have the nuts, man. Reach in your pussy and pull your nuts out like cow udders and toddle your ass in there and sit in front of some prisoners and talk to them. Ask them anything. Why don't you ask a white prisoner some stuff too? They'll tell you. Okay, Charles Manson actually talked about the black condition, and he was less egregiously offensive back in the 70s than you are now. So, Charlie, I hope this is the last commentary I make. You can go fuck yourself.
America refused to give the Negro any land. Through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, They built land-grant colleges, government money, to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. We're coming to get our check.
The greatest American alive.